This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai. Check out the Southtown Hyundai Advantage at southtownhyundai.ca.
Play 107, it's Ryder and Lisa. A girl from Edmonton tweeted out about if you had one cop from a TV show or movie that you could call in to help you with a real life situation, who would you pick?
Exactly. And I wish I could give proper credit because I was just scrolling through Twitter and I read it and I was like, oh, that's an interesting question. And I kept scrolling. And then you know how Twitter refreshes and you can't find things after that?
Right.
Brutal. But I was like, oh, I'd love to give her some love on the show and then ask the question for the listeners.
We'll track it down. We'll try
and find it. Yeah. So think of every television show that you've seen cops on, movies. Who is the one character that you'd call?
I got mine, I think.
Okay.
Carl Winslow.
Okay.
What? Nobody's messing with Carl.
I guess you're right. It's crazy how many options there are. There's so many cop shows.
Honestly.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, dude?
Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry, and that's from Bad Boys for Life. That's the best answer.
I thought so too.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Who you taking, Lise?
I was thinking of Axel Foley, which is from Beverly Hills. I mean, you got to have someone that can have a little bit of fun with it as well.
Beverly Hills Cop, like Eddie Murphy's character? Okay.
I just love Eddie Murphy. I'd also want him to sing to me. Party all the time, party all the time. A text in from Matt says, Vic Mackey. And I had to look that up. The Shield. Critically acclaimed television show. Except here's the thing. Vic Mackey is a corrupt cop.
Right.
But so I asked Matt, I was like, really? A corrupt cop? Matt says, you need someone who isn't afraid to go to war for you.
I love how serious people are taking this one. Rico Tubbs is a text we got here from Miami Vice.
Ooh, RoboCop. Great answer.
Oh, yeah, that wins, actually. You can't beat RoboCop.
Well, how come no one said any chicks? Where are all the badass chick cops? Kate Beckett? I don't even know what that's from. What show is that from? I have to Google all of these characters. From the ABC crime series Castle.
How about some of the cops from The Departed? That was a pretty badass movie.
I think just anyone that has a gun I would trust. Please
That's all you need?
Just help me, please. We didn't even think about Die Hard. Thank you for that answer. That's amazing. Chris's text about his son saying, my son says Chase from Paw Patrol.
Good answer.
That made me cry. That's so cute. And then Taylor said Denzel from Training Day. Oh, obviously.
No, Denzel from Man on Fire.
No, okay. Denzel from American Gangster.
No, Denzel from the Book of Eli.
Okay, if I had to choose, I'd choose Denzel from The Equalizer.
No, Denzel from The Equalizer 2.
No, what about Denzel from Crimson Tide?
No, Denzel from The Bone Collector.
No, wait. If you had to choose a Denzel, who I would choose Two Guns.
Yes,
Denzel,
okay,
great movie.
Ryder and Lisa.
Play 107.
If you live in a small town, does everyone know, like, the delivery driver? Yes.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, so this guy, Chad Turns, is the delivery driver in a small town in Pennsylvania. And during the pandemic, a lot more people were ordering packages, so they saw him a lot more. And working through the pandemic as an essential service, this town wanted to thank him because he even went out of his way. There was some children playing outside when he was dropping off a gift, and he knew it was a Christmas gift. So he didn't drop it off, waited until the end of his shift and brought it back later so they wouldn't see it.
Smart
so just
move.
a gem of a guy.
Yeah.
So the town ended up raising some money for him. They gathered $1,000, and then they even got some of his coworkers to pretend that he had a drop off at the end of the day, but it was at town hall. And then everyone was there with big signs and thank yous and all this money for him.
Awesome.
So sweet.
Tell me something good.
My story is about Dr. Patch Adams, the real one.
Okay, that movie made me cry.
Yeah. Robin Williams played him in the 90s movie or early 2000s movie. But it's actually based on a real man who is Patch Adams.
I didn't know that.
He's like a doctor, and he really likes to clown. Like, so he wears the big red nose, and he does like just silly things with especially stressed out residents at the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, he just had his left leg below his knee amputated. And most people would probably be pretty shaken with that, but he's just such a positive dude. I watched a video on it, and he's like jacked up. He's like, the amount of cool stuff I can do now with my clowning.
As a clown.
Like, I've got puppets made for it already.
I love him.
And he's really excited for it. It just, in my opinion, shows the power of positivity, and he's got a lot of that.
Tell me something good.
Play
It
107.
is time for Complaint Corner, just getting some things off our chest. Then we can move forward with the rest of the week. I'd like to start with the fact that I'm seeing a lot more people hauling their TVs outside so they can watch the game from their like patios, their backyards. I love it. I just don't know how to do it, and it really bothers me.
Yeah. So do they just have a cord that comes out through their patio door?
Do you have like an extra holder strapped to the wall of your exterior? What?
How does that work?
Quit it. You're making me so jealous.
I know.
Anyway, that's my complaint corner.
What if you just got one of those, what are those machines?
Projection?
Yeah, and then just hang up a white sheet
Yeah, that sounds real
against
classy.
your house. That would look cool. Okay. So my complaint is I love seeing articles about new vaccines that are being tested out. Mm-hmm. Anything to do with the vaccine, though, the photo that they choose is a zoomed in picture of a needle going into someone's arm. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know why they feel the need to do that and not just like post a picture of the bottle that holds the vaccine or like the COVID character guy or whatever.
I
Lots
like
of options.
give me the bottle.
Yeah.
I don't want to see somebody's arm. I don't want to see a bare arm. I don't want to see a needle. I've never looked at the needle in my life when I go to get anything done.
Well, and because of that, because they always seem to feel the need to post the picture of the needle going in, a lot of people probably avoid reading the articles that are important.
I scroll right past it.
Because you don't want to look at it anymore.
I'm also gagging.
So, like, the place that posts the picture, the website, the news article, whatever, isn't getting their viewers that they could and readers. So that's a fail. And an important message isn't being driven home. So
Who do
that's
I have
a
to
fail.
talk to, though?
I don't know.
Do I have to write the person that wrote the article and just let them know, listen, nobody's reading this because...
Yeah, I think you do. Go right to the source.
Okay, so we told you can complain if you'd like. Shantia wrote in saying, I can't be the only one who complains about the lack of places to eat a good hot dog here in YEG.
Okay. Yep, that's a very good point. Like, I know OJ's has the double dog. That's a fine dog.
That's a good dog.
But like most places don't have a dog on the menu.
She says, how come Costco food isn't on Skip the Dishes? Hashtag for the love of wieners. So yeah, if anybody has a suggestion for a good hot dog, I can send it her way.
Like the Fat Franks are good. But yeah, I'd like to see more dog options for sure.
Play 107.
Are you allergic to something, but you just try to power through it? I feel like I've discovered that I am allergic to something in most IPAs, which is my favorite type of beer.
Now, what are your side effects? Instant bathroom breaks?
No, like next day, not good. I don't need to get into details, but mainly like sweating and like head sweat.
Weird.
Specifically, nights after I've had a few IPAs, like my pillow will be drenched. So something is trying to get out of my body that IPA put in there, but I just love them so much.
Maybe it's just a hangover.
No, because it's not like it doesn't have to be like 9 of them.
Right.
Just like 2 IPAs and I'll be sweating profusely at night.
Now
Sexy, hey ladies?
It's really hot. One of my favorite fruits to eat are bananas.
Okay.
And when I eat them, my throat swells up and gets itchy, but I can't stop. Especially when they're the perfect amount of ripe or they're kind of sweet.
I wonder if you chewed them better because you kind of do the 2-bite thing with your bananas.
Calm down. No, I don't. 3 bites maybe.
780-784-7107. We're asking you what you're allergic to.
Yeah, snow mold is a major answer, especially right now. A lot of people are feeling that. Both my parents have developed extreme allergies in the spring, and I'm like, does that mean that's going to be me one day?
You
I don't
think
want
you're,
that.
You think you're in the clear.
You think you're in the clear, and then all of a sudden, you develop something.
I could be allergic to fermentation in general, as well as pickled things seem to really mess me up. And one time I was at like a holistic healer, and she's like, do you eat a lot of pickles? And I was like, yes.
How do they know these things?
And she said, that's your gallbladder's telling me you eat too many pickles, so you need to have some more pomegranate in your diet. I'm like, what?
Whoa.
But that palm juice is like $75 a bottle.
You can buy the little seeds.
And just like...
I think you can buy a little package of the palm seeds. Just eat those.
Okay.
Then you'll lose a tooth. You can't win. Charlene wrote in saying, I'm allergic to dogs and cats. I have 3 dogs and 2 cats. Imagine the hair.
No.
Unless they're hairless.
How many vacuums do you have rolling at once? You doubling?
My sister got a Roomba, and she said they've developed over time to be way better than the original, and she highly recommends them. I was like, please don't tell me that, because you look them up online and they're $350
for like the base model.
For the base, and then you can get the pet one. That's the next level Roomba.
780-784-7107. Alicia, what are you allergic to?
My dog. He's put me into anaphylactic shock twice.
No.
Yeah, I've had him since he was just a baby. He's 5 now, but I load myself up with antihistamines and I carry EpiPens.
Wow.
That is love. What kind of dog do you have?
I have a 130-pound pit bull.
Oh my gosh, you're the best dog mom ever.
Oh, thank you. I think he likes me.
I bet he does.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it's like just him, or are you allergic to other dogs as well?
I'm allergic to all short-haired dogs.
Oh, are
Right.
you?
How do we get your pit bull to grow his hair out? Can you give him some collagen pills?
Hey, want to know what? I'll try it.
Please don't. I will not be the reason your dog
I'm
gets
kidding.
sick.
I'm totally kidding. I wouldn't.
Well, we're seeing a lot more wildlife now that it's spring. And Lisa, you have some questions.
Yeah, I do.
I'll try to answer as many as possible, okay?
I love animal facts so much. Sometimes I become so obsessed with a certain animal or insect that I will listen to podcasts about them, look them up on Wikipedia, and just read about them for days. I love it.
Like, it's amazing how much you know about pigeons. I don't want to start on that today.
No, you don't, because I could talk about it all morning.
Right.
Same with crows.
Okay, so here's some questions you don't have answers to yet that you want to find out more about.
Where do geese sleep?
Well, I've seen geese sleep before.
How? Where?
Well, if you play golf early in the morning, they're not awake yet. And they'll all sleep like kind of by the water. And they'll just like lay down.
Sitting up?
Wrap their neck around their butt and like kind of bunch up and sleep.
But they sleep beside the water always?
Well, either that or that was a dead goose. I don't know.
Next question. How do mosquitoes live through the winter? They just appear again. Are they the same mosquitoes from last winter, or are they little eggs in the ground?
Yeah, my guess is that the mosquitoes lay eggs that can survive in ice, and then when it's nice out, they hatch. Would be my guess.
Mosquitoes have been around since dinosaurs.
Right. Tough.
How'd they do that? Same with alligators, actually. What's the lifespan of an alligator?
There isn't one.
What do you mean there isn't
They
one?
will live forever.
No.
Unless they get, a disease or an injury. So they actually don't die of old age. I know that one.
Do they get dry hands?
I don't know that.
Do beavers ever break their teeth? Again, we're talking about this because it's spring. We're going to be seeing a lot more wildlife, and these are just random questions I think about every once in a while.
Beavers' teeth never stop growing, so they'll gnaw on wood as they do, and it grinds their teeth down, so they try to keep them at a similar length.
So when beavers first became a thing, was their purpose on this earth to get rid of trees? Why? How did they figure out, I'll just eat trees to cut down my teeth?
Well, I think more so they get the trees because they build the dams so that they can create a food supply for themselves. For
the record, Jack just wrote in saying, is this segment called Stoner's Corner? No, actually. I actually don't participate in that, surprisingly. Do giraffes ever get sore necks?
I don't know about that, but can you imagine how painful a sore throat would be if you were a giraffe?
Imagine a COVID test on a giraffe. What are you using as a swab?
A hockey stick.
Do sharks get bored? Think about it. They live to be like over 500 years old.
Right.
Are they roaming around because there's nothing else to do?
Yeah, I think...
They're constantly hunting.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure,
the ocean's cool. Like, there's a lot of different things you could go check out.
Okay, this is a great question, and it actually is something our listeners can answer. When you own a cat, because I never have, you just let it out and hope it comes back? Because if I owned a cat, I'd be constantly anxious looking out the window, making sure it's safe.
I think most people don't let their cats out.
I think they do. They let them roam in the streets. Isn't that what cat owners do?
No,
and then you're like, well, I hope it comes home.
No, some people are like, don't let the cat out when you come in, right?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and last but not least, last question. How are we all just okay with the fact that caterpillars turn into butterflies? We learn that and we're like, oh, that's cool. And then we go on with our day and we're like, what's for lunch? I have been thinking about that since grade 3.
Yeah, that's a strange thing.
Happy spring. Really excited to see all the wildlife, but we'll constantly be asking questions.
Suzanne Summers shared that her and her man, who are in their 70s, connect 3 times before lunch daily. Like, what?
Right. So we asked you, like, how often? Matt said, literally any time our kid is not around. Minimum at least 2 times a day. And I said, how do you get rid of your kid twice a day? And he's like, iPad.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
we're getting a nice mix of answers.
Well, yeah, because I said earlier, I think a lot of our listeners have it on a schedule. And you said absolutely no way that that's a thing. But it is. TU wrote in saying schedule all the way. We got 3 kids, full-time jobs. My husband goes out of town. It's the only way to keep it a priority.
Okay. Yeah, that
So-
makes sense if you're that busy, I
Okay,
suppose.
but does it ding on your phone? Like, does your Fitbit buzz and you're like, oh,
If both your phones ding at the same time, you just look at each other and give the
you're
nod.
like, oh, yeah. Aaron wrote in saying, we're trying to conceive, so at least every day we do schedule connecting, which makes it kind of awkward, but we try to make it fun.
Do you think in somebody like Suzanne Summers' situation where if she's interested 3 times before lunch a day, if you ended up with somebody who's like maybe a once a weeker, that leads to a lot of infidelity? Like, do you think you almost need to find somebody who somewhat matches your interest in that? Because if one person's like recklessly interested in it and the other person's like, nah.
But there's also a lot of people that are in open relationships and they don't talk about it. But if they're not interested, they just let their partner do whatever. It's more common than you think.
Really? Never have I been in a situation like that at all. Like in any of my relationships where it was like, yeah, maybe. No, I wouldn't even have the conversation. I'd get hit with a wooden spoon bringing it up.
So when Steve is home, now this keeping in mind, he comes home sometimes every 5 or 6 months. So I'm basically a nun when he's gone.
Right.
And then he comes home, and we're at least once or twice a day.
Wow. Good
Whoa.
for you guys.
Well, we got some stocking up to do.
Yeah, that's good for heart health, too, I bet.
I hope so. We're old, so we kind of need as much as we can get.
Now, a very funny story is going viral here in the city. A man got pulled over while driving with his grandson.
They were on Highway 21 and this cop pulls them over for going over the speed limit. They were 3 kilometers away from the house, which always seems to be the case. You're always so close to your destination when things like this happen. So the cop walks up to the vehicle and unrolls the window. And all of a sudden, the grandson in the back seat starts screaming, "Grandpa, it's coming out. I gotta go." And the cop's like, "What is happening?" He's like, "I'm gonna poop my pants." So the cop could not stop laughing, lets them off easy.
Yeah, it says like,
course.
how far do you have to go?
Yeah, like 3 kilometers.
The guy
All
shares
right.
how close they were.
You got to slow down, though. Let's go. All of a sudden, the cop's gone, and he says, "What was that about?" And he's like, "Oh, I saw it on YouTube. I didn't think it would work, though." So he didn't even have to use the bathroom. But this 4-year-old here in Edmonton saved his grandpa from getting a ticket. Like, you got to think this cop is going to see this post on Facebook.
Right. I
Eventually,
hope
and
so,
be like,
because I think he'll think it's really funny. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing his job.
Right.
But you do have to pivot in certain circumstances, I
this
suppose.
is like the one time that parents are going to read this and go, "YouTube, eh?" Sounds like a good idea today.
Right.
Put him on there for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Learn some things.
I need my daughter to become friends with that kid. If he's that good at it, I'll take him on road trips.
At 4?
Yeah.
A little actor, I'd say.
Play 107.
Pretty tough weekend as I lost a very close friend of mine who's also a big part of the show. He was a regular contributor here. Anytime we needed to check in on what was going down south of the border, he gave us a breakdown with a crazy accent and a love for life that could be heard through the radio.
He was so clever and funny and witty, sharp.
His name's Ross Hill, and he was a world champion bullfighter. And I always kind of thought it would be a bull that got their revenge for him embarrassing them and dancing around them and protecting bull riders when they get knocked off. I kind of always was prepared for that to be the way he went, but it wasn't. It was a tragic ATV accident that claimed his life. But he had some advice while he was at a friend's funeral, just coming out of it, and it hits even harder now and is more impactful. But his words are pretty wise, and I think we can all learn a lot from them. So this is what he had to say just on life.
Life is too short to worry. You know, I worried for 6 months about my taxes. I got them done yesterday, and it was nothing like the story that I had created around what it was going to look like. And, you know, it's kind of dumb because now I'm thinking, well, what was you worried about, Ross? And, you know, I've worried about bulls. I've made bulls bigger than they are before, faster than they are. And, you know, I ask you to check into that. What is your worry? What are you worried about? Are you worried about a relationship? Are you worried about your health? It's not even an issue. Are you worried about finances? Are you worried about what other people think about you or what they say about you? Because, dude, it's too short. Life is too short to worry. Let's work on losing our worry today. Don't worry, be happy now.
Well, there it is.
Wow.
Pretty powerful.
I'd say.
The last time we had him on, he was telling us about the cold snap that they were dealing with in Alabama, the first time they had seen snow in 40 years or something. And this is just a short bit of the conversation we had with them, but I thought I'd leave it on a high note. So here it is. Do you have any Long Johns?
Long John?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Long John, his truck won't get out either. He's stuck.
No, you have a friend named Long John. No, they're like long underwear.
Oh, no, we don't wear clothes under our clothes.
Ryder and Lisa.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai.
Play